Welcome to the MagiReco news. I'm your anchor here. Our top story today: collaboration. But first, we need to actually talk about something else that's going to play a little bit into this, just a little bit. A new Kimochi is going to happen at some point in October, and it's the Kimochi where you play your dark characters. And you might think that for your dark element characters, so far we've always had the Kimochi where you play with your Magia dark characters and your double dark characters. Well, potentially this time as well, but the thing is, what the rule set for this specific Kimochi is that this Kimochi will inflict you with Magia damage down. It might buff itself with Magia damage cut. It might give itself a debuff where it takes more damage from blasts, and charge, and all that kind of stuff. So you're supposed to use charge blast characters of dark element. Now here's the thing. The Magia strategies for dark type characters are so incredibly fucking powerful, especially now with Akuma Homura, that I'm not actually that certain that even with these buffs, players will actually do the most amount of damage with Charge Blast. In fact, there was at least one Kimochi in the past, I think, at some point, where it was supposed to be a Charge Blast Kimochi, but turns out playing double strategies actually was just stronger. It was just better. So this might be another time where this happens, where the developers will have to face the reality that Charge Blast strategies are just not competitive, even if you try to nerf double specifically. That said, maybe they actually are going to be stronger this time, who knows, we don't know yet. But yeah, when it comes to dark type Charge Blast characters, they're saying that, oh, you should probably play characters like dark type characters that play well into this, like Mizugi Nagisa, like Swimsuit Nagisa, like Swimsuit Kuroe, for example, who also is more on the Magia side, so you can kind of both. Darkness Kanagi, for example. And also Takina. Who is Takina? Do we even know who Takina is? I don't know. Must be a new character, right? So here's the LycoReco collaboration. It's already here. And people have been saying like, wow, how is it possible that we're already getting the collaboration? Something is wrong. Something is different. No. In the past, I was there for the Nanoha collaboration. The Nanoha collaboration was also teased about 10 days before it actually went live. So they're just doing what they're doing with the Nanoha collab with this one. And people are saying, oh, there's only going to be a very simple event with this collab. Man, MagiReco is really going downhill. Well, no, because the Nanoha collab was also like that. So this is basically just Nanoha collab round 2 in the way it's being presented to us, except we actually have something that I don't think the Nanoha collab had, which is that it turns out that Chisato, and this is not Chisato from MagiReco, because MagiReco also has a Chisato, you know, but this is like the non-MagiReco Chisato, the LycoReco Chisato. So it's not Reco Chisato, it's Reco Chisato. She has a birthday on the 23rd of September, and for that we got a special login bonus where if you log in during the 23rd, you get a 10-roll ticket and a special memoria that does basically nothing except increase the episode points that you gain, which is not really a big deal at all. I think it's like an HP regen as well. Basically nothing. But you get it. Look at the art. You couldn't get it to look at the art. That's why they put it in the archive. More importantly, yes, we have Takina right here. I already teased her. The first of the 2 LycoReco collab characters that is only going to be available during the collaboration. And it's possible that after this collaboration ends, which I think right now is set to end on the 6th of October, it's possible that after that there's going to be a rerun at some point, but it's also possible that there isn't going to be a rerun. So keep in mind that this might potentially be, maybe not, but potentially be the only time in the entire game's life cycle that you will be able to roll for these characters, because even during Anniversary, for example, you will not be able to select collaboration characters. Like, for example, Anniversary is still going on for like 1.5 more days with the Select Your Limited Character gacha, and of course you cannot actually select any of the collaboration characters, like Monogatari characters, like the Nanoha characters for the rate up, so you will not be able to select LycoReco, Jesus, collaboration characters for that either. So like I said, this might potentially be the only way to get these characters. So what does Takina do? Takina is a dark type charge blast, which at first glance, like I said, might be pretty darn good. For the Kimochi, the news even specifically said like, hey, dark type charge blast might want to use Takina in the lineup, but like I said, dark type Magia strategies are so incredibly powerful that we're gonna have to actually see when the Kimochi goes live. What does she actually do? Well, her connect does the following. For charge blast, connect actually kind of might matter. It does damage up, guaranteed defense pierce, so ignores defense, and guaranteed anti-evade. Who you're going to anti-evade against? Keep that in mind. Next up, the Magia, and this is a character with no Excel discs, who from the 4 SE nodes that we see does not have any MP generation, so keep Magia in really big air quotes, and especially Doppel in really big air quotes, because how the fuck is a character like this gonna get to Magia or Doppel? I assume she's gonna have some blast MP on her nodes that aren't showing right here, but if she doesn't, she's like never gonna get to Magia or Doppel ever. But what does Magia actually do if somehow you actually do get to it? It damages all enemies, not even attribute strengthened. Come on. It does blast damage up to self. It does dark attack up to self. It does guaranteed ignore damage cut to self. Okay. And it also gives you a bit of a barrier. That's quite the hodgepodge of different types of things to give to yourself. Mostly offensive, mostly all for increasing your blast power. But like I said, you're probably not gonna see much use of the Magia because you're charge blaster. Remember charge blasting? Remember that? Wow. The spirit enhancement nodes are actually quite more important. The active does the following: guaranteed defense pierce, so once more ignores defense on active for 1 turn, as well as dark attack up. So for 1 turn, you ignore defense and you do a crap ton of dark damage, just damage in general. Just your general damage steroid, you might call it in other games. It also, the next node gives you, and by the way, some people have said that, oh, this right here, questo. Questo? Oh, this means, this is the katakana for quest, which some people thought means this only works in PvE quests, but this just means at the start of a quest. And mirrors battles are also quests. However, if you have the specific tag, like there's a specific tag in like brackets that might be next to this, which this one doesn't, that says quest only, which also uses the katakana for quest, then it's only for PvE. Which yes, is kind of weird that you have the tag that says quest only, which is only for PvE, but if it says at the start of quest, then it also works in mirrors, because mirrors are also quests. Unless it says quest only, then they're not quests. I don't fucking care. The point is this is gonna work in mirrors. And what do you get? Why is this important? It gives you a guaranteed crit for 3 turns. So for the first 3 turns of battle, all your attacks are guaranteed to be critical, which is the first character that has something like this. And for an entire 3 turns, that's pretty darn fucking good. So in mirrors, imagine if you just get, let's say you play your solo, for example, you just get 3 blast discs, and they're all in the same direction, so you can cover the entire enemy field, which makes her a pretty decent solo mirrors carry, as well as, of course, she ignores defense, and with ignoring defense you deal even more damage, especially against tanks, and you give yourself attack up. So she actually looks like a pretty decent solo mirrors carry in case you don't have someone like Anime Yachi, like Dark Kanagi, like Kimochi, Dabi, characters like that. You can use her instead. And the other part of this pass over here, she also gives herself anti-evade for 5 turns, which just reinforces that she's gonna be good in solo mirrors. By the way, I'm gonna go a little bit more into detail usually than I do in these videos, because in case you haven't read my community posts on YouTube, I am not gonna make any more character review videos. You're getting the review now during this. However, since we're missing a bunch of SE notes and the personal, I'm still only going to give you an estimation. If you want the full story, come to the MagiReco Discord. If you go to the MagiReco Reddit, it has a link in the sidebar to the Discord. We have a MagiReco discussion channel. We have a guides channel. It's called Guides Tips. Go to the Guides Tips channel. That channel has information about characters. Go to the MagiReco discussion channel. It has more people talking about characters. Ask people about how strong characters are and talk about it. I'm not the arbiter to tell you what's good or bad. I'm done doing that. Okay? Just saying. So what is the other passive? The other passive that she has is whoops, I want the wrong character. Dark Attack Up, as you would expect. There it is. Dark Attack Up for 5 turns when the battle starts. So you just get 5 turns of Dark Attack Up. Awesome. Quite a decent amount even. As well as Blast Up. So just you hit harder. You hit even harder than you already do. And could you guys imagine this? But the last passive is also you just hit harder for a bunch of turns. In fact, for all turns, as long as you are on full HP. So for on full HP, you do get an attack up, which is pretty darn good, as well as defense up. Defense up doesn't really matter that much. So yeah, what is she about? She is about hitting really fucking hard for the first like 3 to 5 turns of a battle by blasting really, really hard. And that's about it. And she does bonus damage if she's at full HP. So the battle starts and you just blast, and hope the enemy doesn't get to retaliate. And you're gonna do a really good job at making sure the enemy doesn't retaliate because you ignore defense and you ignore evade. And by ignoring evade and ignoring defense, you're already not going to be countered by that much. The only thing that could counter it, that is maybe like provoke or like guard. But whoever provokes or guards is gonna die as well. So in mirrors, you can still use this character to mop up, like I said, in case you don't already have either Dark Kaneki or Kimochi W or Aniyachi. Still, all 3 of them probably gonna be a little bit better than this character, maybe, who knows, or about on par. Outside of that, I can see her maybe have a little bit of use in ranked auto battle mirrors, like where you don't get control of your characters, because if you randomly roll a bunch of really good blast discs on this character, she's gonna destroy the shit out of anything that she hits, and that might be really darn good to just randomly destroy someone, because she has guaranteed crit and anti-evade. So whatever she hits is probably going to explode, especially because auto battle would probably use her active. So if you get like a turn 1 blast disc, whatever that blast disc gets fired at is dead. But then again, Anime Yachio and like I said, all the other characters already do that, so she doesn't do anything specific on top of that. So keep all that in mind. So yeah, overall her use seems to be potentially really good in the ranked in the Kimochi, but it's possible that the Magi strategy is on par and maybe even not better than Charge Blast anyway. But that said, still, you'll probably do a pretty good job on that Kimochi with Takina. Outside of that, she's a solo mirrors hero, just like the 3 characters I've mentioned before many times already in this video. And maybe in ranked mirrors, you can kind of hope that you get surprise kills with the crit passive. We also have some more Memoria. The first one is the active, which gives attack up and of course defense pierce. Too good to fucking guess it. By the way, really fucking nice art. Oh, love that art. It's already pre-existing art, by the way. It wasn't done specifically for MagiReco. I think this is already existing beforehand. But yeah, attack up and defense pierce is okay. It's okay, but nothing that I would specifically roll for, like just for this Memoria. It's a nice bonus if you already roll for Takina. And then you have the passive, which does dark attack up and attack up. More attack up, who would have guessed? For dark characters, it's actually pretty darn good. Like, this is actually one of those 3-star warrior that might actually be reasonable. Moving on to her girlfriend, nope, that's not her girlfriend. It's Chisato. And yes, by the way, in case you guys haven't watched LycoReco, I haven't either, but they're girlfriends, or just really, really good roommates. Now imagine that I just told you that Takina has so much anti-evade on her kid. Here's the evade character who's also light type. It's like Madoka and Homura, where they're good against each other. Get it? Like the two characters that are good against each other because they're fucking gay. They're totally gay. Anyway, the point is, Chisato is an Excel-use character who, if you imagine Takina being a character that is just very solid without probably actually being meta in most cases, but just extremely solid. Here's another character that's just really solid without probably being meta in most places. Excel is a character who gives damage up, Excel up, just, you know, more Excel stuff. The important part is the Magia, because of course she's gonna fling her Magias on doubles, and she probably won't actually have a double animation, but a second Magia instead. But the point is, she will have the following effects. Does it even say? There we go. She gets on her double a attribute strength and damage to all enemies, so already it's actually looking pretty good for potentially use in Kimochi if you want to, because attribute strength and damage on an offensive focused, okay, she's actually not that offensive focused, but on a decently offensive focused character is pretty darn good. On top of that, she buffs, oh, these are two self, oh man, screw everything that I was about to say. She gives herself light attack up, damage up. So light attack and damage up is a pretty good combo for doing a whole bunch more damage. Negates status ailments twice. On doublets 3 times. That's quite interesting. And guaranteed evade. Guaranteed evade for 2 turns on double. That's interesting. And on double it also gives 3 turns of regenerate MP. And the whole part about this that I was kind of weirded out about is, I was like, didn't I see all of that before? Didn't I kind of see a whole bunch of that before? Like a light type Excellius character who is maybe not meta but really good in most places. It's RecoReco. This is just RecoReco. And players have someone has said before that that apparently in LycoReco she is known for dodging a lot. She dodges bullets and shit. That she's probably gonna have a lot of evade. So I thought, like, whoa, who else has a lot of evade? RecoReco, she might be like another RecoReco. And yeah, she is like another RecoReco. So she's gonna be able to have 100% uptime on evade, just like RecoReco. And if you're gonna be like, oh my god, 100% uptime on evade, not a single turn without evade, that's overpowered. Regular RecoReco can do that. Regular RecoReco, who's been in the game since release, who people have abused for challenges. For exactly that reason, which is why I said that RecoReco, and specifically Final RecoReco, who is just normal RecoReco but better, was already really, really good in most cases, just not in high-end places, because high-end places like Rank Mirrors and Kimochi, you just don't care about evade. Who cares about evade in the place? But yeah, she has 100% evade uptime, which means that on any quest where the enemy doesn't have a way of getting past evade, and beforehand I would have to say, oh, maybe if they have an ailment they can get past evade, because in case you don't know this, if you have an ailment on you, you can't evade. Ailments make you unable to evade. But she gives herself a triple ailment shield on double. So she's not gonna get hit by ailments, it's just not gonna happen. So the only way enemies have to get past evade is either they have inbuilt anti-evade, which most enemies in PvE don't have. Like if you think about witch extermination battles, they usually don't have built-in anti-evade. Some of them do, but not all of them. And also, the other way they have of getting around that is Magia, because you cannot evade Magia and you cannot evade doubles. But also in PvE you don't see that many Magias and doubles like in extermination battles, which I don't know why I keep mentioning extermination battles, because we haven't had one in like a year. But in theory, if that ever comes back, I just made myself sad for a second, because I didn't even realize that we didn't have one for like another year. Because extermination battle was actually kind of cool. That was actually like really cool piece of content, and we actually haven't had one in a really long time. But in theory, she would be really good at cheesing like any of the witches. And this is something that I used RecoReco before in the past, where you can just cheese any of the 5 bosses with RecoReco if they can't specifically counter evade. In theory, you can use Chisato for this as well. That said, maybe in 100 Evils, you can use her to evade a whole bunch of shit and to just do a bunch of Excel shenanigans. But even though she's supposed to be, what is that, balance type, I assume she was gonna buff other characters as well. She only buffs herself? Okay, that's something that I maybe see from maybe a Magic type or an attack type. But balance? Balance is like right next to support, either of these? Like I don't know. But yeah, the fact that you only buff yourself is kind of weird. Maybe maybe this news forgot to mention that the double buffs allies, who knows. But just buffing herself is kind of bad. But what else do we have for the SE? We have guaranteed evade, because of course we have guaranteed evade. We have excel up, and we have MP regeneration to self for a turn. Now the HP regeneration, sorry, the HP regeneration might be rather interesting. We'll see why in a second. She also gives guaranteed evade to herself for 3 turns. Okay, you can only have 1 stack of evade on yourself. You can't evade more than you can evade. If you're evading an attack, you're evading an attack. Having 3 evade buffs on you is not gonna make you evade harder than already evading, okay? So she gives herself evade with Magia and Doppel. She gives herself evade with her active. She gives herself evade passively for 3 turns when the battle starts. What's next? She's gonna get evade when she attacks? I don't know. She doesn't, by the way. That was just me. In case you guys thought that I was actually talking about another note. And she also gives herself a MP regen for the first 5 turns, which I think is going to be about 13.5 MP, probably something in that ballpark for 5 turns. So a pretty decent amount, to be honest. What else do we have? We have light attack up and Magia damage up to self for 5 turns. We all see where this is going. And also, similar to Takina, she gets a bonus attack at full HP. And this is where the HP regen comes in, where you kind of want her to stay at full HP with all of your evades. So you're going to evade so fucking hard, they're going to keep staying at full HP. And as long as you're at full HP, with your attribute strength and damage, you're going to hit Dark Tides really hard, which makes her counter Takina. But Takina is anti-evade, which makes her counter to Chisato. And it's because they're really good roommates, you must understand that. And so that's basically her playstyle. Stay at full HP by evading, and maybe by healing yourself, and deal a crap ton of super effective damage while repeatedly buffing yourself and giving yourself more MP. That's kind of character she is. So she might see some use in Kimochi. Potentially, if you don't have another light type damage dealer, you could definitely use her on the light type Kimochi team. And on top of that, she's going to be really good in 100 Evils, probably because evading everything is really good. And just generally, she's going to do a good amount of damage. And just doing good damage while staying alive at full HP and evading everything, that sounds pretty nice for 100 Evils. But once again, also probably not going to be too meta for like super high-end whale Kimochi and super high-end whale ranked mirrors or anything like that. But she's very solid. She's extremely solid. She's like on a power level scale. Both she and Takina are like somewhere between 9 out of 10 to 9.5 out of 10. I'd probably give like Takina like a 9.5 out of 10. But the last 0.5 to 1.0 that's missing is the actual viability in high-end content, right? Whales aren't going to play either of these. Probably we're going to have to look at the next Kimochi, how that works out. But probably aren't going to play either of these in high-end content. But are you a whale? Are you a whale? Are you going to care about how well they do in high-end, 10 out of 10 high-end whale content? Because if you aren't, they're just really solid characters. And I say it's really solid because their passive and active effects that we've seen so far through SE are kind of stacked. What other characters have this many effects and this many really good effects on their SEs, while also just having really good stats and pretty good, at least Chisato has a pretty good Magia as well. They're just really well-rounded. It's light type and dark type as well. So yeah, pretty both really extremely solid characters. Even if you potentially won't see whales using them, we're gonna have to wait and see. Next up, the actual Memoria for Chisato is also once again pre-existing art as far as I know. It's damage increase, so just damage up as well as attack up. And who would have guessed it? Chance to evade. Whoa! I hope you got your bingo card ready, where for Chisato it just says every single note is just evade, and you fill the entire thing out because, yeah, this is fucking evade again. But would you imagine that the 3-star doesn't actually give you evade? It just gives you light attack up and attack up, which is the exact same as the Takina, just with light attack up instead of dark attack up, so okay. But yeah, damage up and light attack up and evade is pretty darn good. It's not going to be super amazing because of the evade, the other two effects are weaker than they would be on comparable Memoria. So unless you specifically want the evade, it's not that great, to be honest. But there's also the event. And I mentioned this one already way earlier, that yes, there is an event for this. It's just a standard single tower event with just some story attached to it. And the story is apparently that it just says that Iroha and Yachio as well as Takina and Chisato have swapped. But what exactly that swap entails, if they go to each other universes or if they swap bodies, they probably won't, because they seem to have the same personalities. So they probably like swap universes, which means are there going to be two stories, like one about Takina and Chisato in Kamihama and one about Iroha and Yachio in LycoReco place? I don't know. Who knows? Point is, it's just a regular single tower event with really nothing special to it, like nothing special at all. And this is the background on the right. You can see the background right here that you can get, which I think is Cafe LycoReco, if I'm correct. I don't know. Someone tell me. So yeah, the event itself is completely standard. There's apparently a bag that you can get as well for this event, but the bag is like really basic stuff, so does it even matter? Especially because this is 100 paid gems. This is 100 paid gems. And for 100 paid gems, you don't even get a ticket? You don't even get a roll ticket? You get shards? What? This is fucking terrible. This is maybe one of the worst bags, if not the worst bag that has ever existed. The fact is, even if this wasn't paid gems, even if this was free gems, this would be fucking shit. No one would buy this for even free gems. So this is basically just a whale bait, and not specifically whale bait for people who are already playing the game. This is whale bait for people who are starting the game because of LycoReco collab. They're saying, hey, if you want to get a kickstart as a fresh player, here's a whole bunch of materials for you for 100 paid gems. And anyone who is a new player might think that's a good deal. Anyone who's played the game for longer than like a week knows that's a terrible deal. That's a really terrible deal. Don't do this. That said, if you don't do this, it's gonna hurt the developers, and I don't want to hurt the developers. So maybe you should buy. Maybe you should give the developers all your money. That was it for the news, however. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, come to our Discord, and I'll see you guys next time.